Hey, there we go. Thanks everybody for coming in and checking this out tonight. We're following up on our, I guess it's like a mini campaign now it's turning into for Cthulhu Invictus. Tonight's little adventure is going to be the Mad Woman of Rubra. So we're going to kick it right over to Oscar and we're going to find out what's going on. And I'm sure everything will probably work out fine. It's a nice leisure, we're in Corsica. We're just kind of hanging out, kind of relaxing a little bit.
Okay, so when last we left off our heroes, hold on a second, they had suffered some severe sand loss, and as a way of getting them recovered and an apology, their very generous patron sent them to one of his country villas in the city of Rubra on the island of Corsica. So they've been there for several months, actually, almost the entire summer. It was supposed to be for a few weeks, but he never said, okay, you need to leave, and you never felt inclined to leave. So during that time, he's had a doctor come in and check everyone over. He's had a trainer come in and do some physical training and sparring to kind of pump you guys up. And he's even had a philosophy guy come in and talk to you guys about your lives and your past and what might be bothering you. And this falls under humane treatment. I believe humane treatment. I have to check. But it's one of the new rules for recovering sand in ancient Rome. And it's been quite successful because some of you, the Dark Young took 10 points from everyone. So that was like a catastrophic loss. Chad and I role played a tiny bit to kind of fill in some of his side story of what was going on, but I won't share that because it's whether he wants to share it with you or not. I role played with Will a little bit, and he's choosing to bring some of this side story home to roost so he can tell you what he's been up to. And John, I'm just guessing that your gladiator is enjoying the touristy nightlife after, sleeping late, eating well, sparring, enjoying the air, and taking advantage of everything the villa has to offer. And then at dusk, going down into town, finding a place to gamble, drink. You've got a few favorites at a few brothels. I'm getting this because in your character background, you said you're a hedonist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that probably about sums up his time in Corsica. Yeah.
Okay. So, and like every other day, I think Iavolenus goes out and he goes fishing. And sometimes he brings home fish and sometimes he doesn't. But, he apparently likes to fish. It's kind of a pastime of his. And one day he comes home and asks to speak. Well, not home. He comes back to the villa and asks to speak to everyone. This, I'm going to say, happens after you've regained whatever sand you were going to regain from when we rolled at the end of last session.
Okay, which is already recorded.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
So, what do you guys know about lawsuits?
I could see Horatius actually laughing out loud and in exasperation as Iavolenus. That's what he leads off with.
He hasn't even mentioned the fishing yet.
Lucius just says, most of my lawyering is done at the point of a sword.
I figure we can get to that if we need to, but there might be a better way to do this. I met two good kids down by the dock. Great kids, but they're hungry, they're dressed in rags. Their mother is a village lupa. It's a cheap prostitute. Crazy. She says the kids are royalty and every man in the village is their father.
Oh. Well.
She might also be a witch, so she might fall under our purview. A lot of the fishermen talk about apparently she lays curses. Chickens lay bad eggs, bad luck, teeth fall out. I don't got any chickens. I'm missing half my teeth already. My luck was never that great, so I'm not too worried. But
where's the lawyer come in?
I want to get these kids away from her.
Oh.
I can adopt them, raise them as my own. It's got to be better than begging for scraps at the docks.
I look at Horatius and just kind of like raise an eyebrow, like with the line of work that we've, brought him in to undertake, like adopting children, like he, like conveys all that just in a cocked head and a raised eyebrow.
Yeah, and Horatius is not hiding his grimace of no friggin' way.
Well, this is going to be a real short session.
I mean, the party's big enough. Listen, I appreciate your compassion. I admire it. In fact, I think these are good impulses. However, we do have strange work, and I have trouble seeing how these they would be in a better situation with risks that we might bring to a family.
Right now, they're starving. Mother attacks anyone who tries to give these kids food.
Oh, really?
Really.
She is starving them because they are royalty? What's the internal logic?
Because they're royalty, they won't take charity.
Oh. But she's not providing for them herself.
Right. She's hitting men up for money and then going and drinking it all.
Lucius would be bothered by the fact that this was ongoing. As far as he's concerned, life is cheap, but like it's more of an honor thing. So like his cheapness comes in the form of combat. Where honors won or lost. It's not like with the satyr. It touched him a little bit because the child was drowned like right from the jump. So it like you're reaching him, but he's not completely convinced that you adopting them is the best policy. So he kind of looks around at the opulence that surrounds them, and he's like, "Do you think the old man may adopt the children? Maybe."
No, not me. No.
No, not you. No, the old man. Our benefactor.
Cornelius, Cornelius Nothica.
Yeah. He's surely not gonna miss a few coins here or there. I mean, maybe he can even bring them in as free persons to work around the villa. It would certainly be safer than the line of work that we're in.
Yeah, that's true.
Indeed.
I think maybe even with the mother, if the mother wasn't in the picture, I think even some of the fishermen would be willing to take care of these kids. It just don't go thinking I'm some big softy here.
Hey.
No, why would they think that?
I still look like George the Animal Steeple.
Well, eliminating the mother is of small consequence if she's deranged and starving her children. I believe that there'd be no loss there.
Your solution is to assassinate the mother of poor children.
What if we find out for sure if she's a witch?
that would give us a leg to stand on as far as our work goes.
Indeed. And there are other solutions besides having two children follow us around in the Shadow War. um, and I'm deeply conflicted because I've been thinking a lot about compassion lately and justice and fairness and treating people right. And so maybe this is a whetstone on which I can sharpen my newfound philosophy.
There you go.
Lucius nods.
But let's be practical, and I don't think that we should end up taking these on as wards, or we could do more damage. I think you already know than even starving to death could possibly.
Do the children seem loyal to the mother, or do they follow her, dote on her at all?
No, they stayed down by the docks begging for food. They came up to me and offered to cook the fish I caught if I'd give them one.
Now, I don't mean to doubt your story or their story, but, this is just the sort of thing urchins in any city would tell people.
I talked to some of the other fishermen and they backed it up.
Oh, I see. Well, that's something.
Yeah, she's got a reputation. Like I said, the whole curse thing, and then, getting violent with anybody who tries to, give her kids a decent thing to wear or to eat.
Do we only have rumors of malformed eggs and misbehaving chickens, or is there some evidence that she has powers?
That's what I figured we'd stick our noses in, see if we can find some evidence.
Fair enough. Well, I say we can certainly poke around the docks and find out more information.
Okay, so we'll say that it's early enough in the day that you can easily leave the villa, be in the center of town, in like not even a half an hour. And there's plenty of people you can talk to around and gather local rumors. Lucius has made a lot of friends in town, so some of them may know him.
All right. I don't know that he would be at the dock so much, but yeah, I mean, he would ask around the tavern and see, whether or not anyone knew anything of the woman, places that she may stay, if anyone has been personally affected, by her, by a curse or whatever.
Okay. So do you guys want to split up and try and hit different areas, or different areas of town to get different viewpoints of what people know about her? Or
that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Not group up and make a scene.
All right, Horatius, where would you like to try and gather some info?
The market.
Okay, very good. And Iavolenus?
I'm going to head back to the docks since I figure that's where most of the contacts I've made have been.
Okay. All right, so you spend... So is there a plan to how long you're going to do this and where you're going to meet up later? Remember, no cell phones.
Yes.
Reconvene for the evening meal?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the plan is to spend the day gathering and come back before nightfall to fill everyone else in. Okay, I'm going to start with Lucius. You're at the bar, and you're there in time for lunch, so you're having a few glasses of wine with some people. Like, oh, you're in early. We didn't expect you for later. And like 2 or 3 of the bouncers at the brothel, like most of the girls are asleep now, and they're like, oh, we're gonna be playing this. I forget the name, but there's actually a Roman version of like handball with like a ball, and so they're like gonna go blow off some steam and play handball. It's like, basically like 3 fucking big brown bouncers, and like you could be our 4th.
Nice. Sounds pretty good. It is a little bit early to. Girls are still sleeping, so sure, why not?
All right, so you rap with them, and you do find out a few things that you're like, so tell me how you ask, or you broach the subject.
He doesn't say anything for a while. Like, he gets in. I don't know that he's played before, so like he's trying to figure out the rules. He wants to put in a good showing, right? He's a centurion.
We're gonna say that this is like fucking stickball. It's like every kid grew up. You've at least played this 2 or 3 times.
All right, it's been a while.
We're gonna shoot some hoops.
Yeah. So just like what's going on? What's new? I heard one of our friends, Iavolenus, has been hanging around down on the docks doing some fishing. You ever what's going on down there? I usually don't spend any time down at the docks. I mean, I found other interests here in town to keep me occupied. Anything going on down there?
Okay, so eventually they kind of dovetail into it, and they say that there's, they fill you in on local gossip, and then eventually they say, oh, and there's our local hag, Neridia. No, her name is Cyan. I hear that her former brother-in-law is still blind after she cursed him for trying to get sandals for his niece and his nephew.
What's the situation? Is she live on the streets? Why would she curse someone for trying to help the children?
She lost her mind a couple of years back, and she nearly died. Her husband died, and when she finally recovered, her mind was gone. And they used to have a house somewhere in the area. I hear that it was either bought out from under them, and one of the other guys says, I heard she burned the place down. Yeah, it's really sad. Everyone, her husband's family tried to step in, and every time they try and help her or the kids, bad things happen. She's one other guy said, let's just say it, she's possessed. There's we've all figured out that there's some kind of a demon in her.
And so, Lucius scoffs. A demon? Please, the gods care little for what we do. As long as their sacrifices are made, they tend not to meddle in our affairs, I would imagine.
He says, well, maybe some gods, but I think some gods are spiteful. And there's definitely some kind of an evil spirit living within her. My cousin was there when she was in the market, and she had tried to steal a pie, and they snatched it out of her hands, and the vigilist tried to carry her away, and she went into some kind of seizure and started howling, and then everyone around her started to get sick. And swoon, and people were passing out and throwing up. And then when they let her go, she finished having her seizure, and she just crawled away. And ever since then, nobody's laid a hand on her.
Interesting. And does anyone know what happened at the time that her husband had died? And she was attacked? Were they attacked by someone? Something?
No, they were at a wedding in the next town over, and it was a tragedy. They think it was bad shellfish, and I think there were like 30 or 40 people died at this wedding reception, and a few people survived. She survived, her husband didn't. But whatever humors or vapors or came out of this tainted shellfish that were served, it just burned away a part of her mind, and that's when they think the demon found a vulnerable host. She was between life and death for a few weeks, and she was not the same when she came out of it.
Were any of the other people who were affected also imbued with these strange powers?
Don't know. Her husband and her were the only two people who went to that party. She had family over at the next town. A cousin of hers, I think.
Any chance they could have been poisoned?
What do you mean?
I mean, maybe it was not bad shellfish after all.
These are just common folk. And I mean, would you really kill 40 people if you wanted to do someone harm?
Would be surprised.
Somebody said, if you want to be thorough.
Yeah, you would be surprised at the lengths that people would go to prove a point.
There were women and children at that party. That would be some. That's some darkness. I don't want to. I wouldn't want to shoot dice with that guy.
Indeed. It does take us to the wars that we have to fight, though. It's all a matter of degrees.
And they were like, "Look, if you're looking for crazy, you just need to get this other girl at the brothel. You get, feed her a few drinks. You don't need to go messing with that mess." And they all like take a chuckle.
Yeah, and
so they're like, sorry to make light, but honestly, she kind of gives everybody the creeps.
Yeah, I can certainly understand why. Yeah, when we're done here, I may look her up then and see the girl that they were talking about,
okay.
And see how many drinks it takes to get her crazy.
It won't take many. All right, so in the market, we're gonna with Horatius. So you're strolling around and picking up a few pieces of fruit, and so how do you want to broach the subject of the mad woman?
Would there happen to be somebody selling evil eye protection charms?
Yes.
Right. Like at every market.
Yeah.
So I'll approach that person and actually purchase one.
Okay, you do so. And they ask what is the nature of the curse you're trying to defend against? And they said, or who is hoping to, or who are you trying to defend against? We have many specific charms and amulets that protect against different things.
Ah, great. And I'm looking and I'm holding them up if they'll let me.
Yeah, they'll let you handle it.
Examine them and look. Do these look? I'm just curious. Quality wise, do these look pretty, like fairly?
Make a luck
roll. Oh, sure. That is a failure in my luck.
They look fine to you. And I've conveyed the truth with my tone.
Yes, I got it. That landed. Well, it's a strange situation. It's a friend of a friend who is concerned about a woman that they tried to help this woman's children, and the woman apparently got very upset and threatened to curse them. And I just feel like you can never be too careful.
Oh, you're talking about Cyan.
Cyan. This name now springs to
Yeah,
mind.
it's a
Indeed.
shame. She used to be such a lovely young girl. Came here when she was newly married to a good family. But now, they say that she died and came back. She lingered near death. And when she came back, her mind was not right, and that some darkness lived within her. And ever since then, she's lashed out at anyone trying to help her or her children. And some have forcibly tried to get her help. And she cursed them. If you cross her and she puts the evil eye on you, you'll have bad luck for weeks. Someone miscarried. Someone else, and he whispers, and it sounded like they couldn't get out of the latrine. They couldn't even walk until they wasted away as if they were in the desert.
Really?
Yes, it's a very real threat. So you're going to need something a little bit more potent if she's kind of gotten, attention. If she's. So they go and they get you an amulet, and it's going to be about 10 sesterci.
Now, I guess I would like to kind of read them to see if they're trying to scam me. I think I'm going to buy it anyway, but I want to see, to what degree they're making a sale here and
okay, roll.
I need a dice cam. 0-1.
Okay, you get that. This is your insight roll.
Yeah.
And you're really good at this. You get that they are more hopeful that this amulet will offer some protection, but even they are unsure that it will. But they are completely honest in the threat that this individual may pose to people who cross her. They're speaking with a bit of fear and respect. Not respect in the sense that they respect who she is or what she's doing. They respect or like a wasp.
There's a certain gravity to the way they're talking about it. I will purchase the item, unless it's exorbitant and beyond my. Do we have a frozen Oscar?
I think we have a frozen Oscar.
Oh no!
Oscar, come back to us. He was cursed.
Even talking about this fictional character.
All right, let me throw something in the messenger. Let him know he's frozen.
He probably hears us. That often happens. Oh. Facebook Messenger. Yeah. Oh, it's you. Got it. Sorry.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
It's just more editing. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, while we have this moment, I guess, do you think at any point prior to this undertaking, we have swapped our war stories, or is this yet to be done?
Oh, it's a good question. I guess the question is, how is it fun to do on camera or not? Because I'm happy to sort of hand wave it, but
if it's been all this time, I assume we probably did it already.
I think so too. Yeah, and that's why we trust each other. Yeah, I mean, enough to go into Pan's horrible cave.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost a labyrinth, really.
Yeah, some kind of Pan's labyrinth.
Oh, hopefully we get him back.
Yeah.
So do you... Well, we're live. I don't want to get into technical. I was going to ask you how... Oh, I see.
There's 2 Oscars. You could ask. I mean, we're not quite ready, I guess. Well,
Am I the evil Oscar?
yes.
Yeah, really.
Well, we can't see a goatee yet.
Something's gone wrong with the transporter.
Oh, wait, no, he doesn't have a little black mustache.
Okay.
It's wet.
That's really weird, huh? Sorry about that, guys.
No, that's okay.
And I lost my overlay. Shit.
Now we've got to wait all over again.
I was going to ask you what you use to edit.
I use Audacity because it's free and I am cheap.
Oh, okay. So you do audio edits. You leave the YouTube archive as it is.
Oh yeah, this is all fucked up for the YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotcha.
I'm not editing. I don't know how, and I don't have a program for it, and that's just a whole other level of I'm not doing that.
Totally. Well, that's good because I went back to listen to your edits to see what happened, but I watched the video instead of looking for it on Audacity like a fool. So
So the Cthulhu, because of the way our posting schedule is, we have 4 ongoing campaigns. So those hit the regular, every Monday we have something except for maybe this week. So our one-shot games, which are mostly Cthulhu games and, a couple other scattered things, are generally not in the feed now. And I'm trying to figure out how best to solve that problem because it's hard for me to edit 1 podcast a week, no less 2 podcasts a week.
sure.
But the plan is for when Invictus drops and is finally available, to release what we have as far as our ongoing campaign in support of the launch.
Gotcha. Oh, so it's not dropped yet.
It has not dropped yet. Yes.
Oh, okay.
The videos are there, but this campaign has not made an appearance yet.
Cool. Yep. Should be able to drop the MU one somewhere around that time too. So
cool.
With less editing. Sorry.
If it was just a technical edit, it wouldn't be as bad. But with the sound effects and all the other stuff, it's just I enjoy the final product. It's difficult to begin to undertake. Like I said, this week I haven't done it, so I'm gonna probably be up till 2:00 tomorrow after another game to finish editing or I'm just gonna post it late Monday night. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a job of work.
It is indeed.
Okay, so did we stop, or are we still broadcasting, or?
No, we're still broadcasting.
Okay,
Chad
so
had
let's-
purchased the amulet.
Okay, did you hear my explanation?
No.
I think you should go back and go over that.
Basically, when you made your 01, you get that they don't know if the amulet will help you, but it's the best they can do.
Yeah.
So in a way, they're not selling it in good faith, but it's the best they can do, and they have they have some concern. There's a measure of fear and respect for this person, and not respect in the way like, oh, I respect a senator. Respect as if you found a wasp nest in your garden.
Yeah. Got it. Well, I will purchase this and be gracious. Thank you very much for your help. Do you know? I don't know where this woman is. Where should I avoid?
They kind of tell you that she's down by the warehouses, but she does come into the market at least once a day. She'll basically openly steal fruit or bread from some of the stands, and we've been told by the city administrator not to try and stop her.
Wow.
Just to take a tally, and that reimbursement will be given from the city coffers.
Well, that's a strange kind of welfare.
The last time the last time they tried to arrest her, several people fell ill. She went into some kind of seizure that everyone around her, it was very bad. So,
Do you know anyone that I could talk to who has suffered one of these curses?
oh, her brother-in-law, he's still blind.
And where is he to be found?
They tell you where he lives
Great.
and talk about how unfortunate he is, and he tried to have some people drag her to the church, to a temple, so they could try and administer. And he wanted to take the children into his household because they were so filthy. It was after she had burned down their house, and she cursed him, and he's been blind for almost 3 years now.
It's terrible.
Okay, so we're gonna pause there,
Sure.
and we will go to the cause of all of this, Iavolenus. All right, so you're down at the docks, and pretty much there's not much more you can learn unless you ask specific questions. The kids are there, and they're happy to see you. A little disappointed that you haven't been fishing.
Can I retcon that I've brought a little bit of food with me to give to them?
Of course, that's completely reasonable.
Mhm.
And I would like you to make a luck check.
All right.
And technically, I'd like you to fail it, but that's up to you.
I did not fail it with an 04.
Okay. She doesn't show up. They take the bread, and they're happy to see you, and they eat hungrily, and it's like any other day for their poor lives.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna ask some of the fishermen for specific examples of her having cursed people.
Well, they tell you about that she's made her brother-in-law blind. That she probably may have killed someone with a curse, because after she cursed them, they basically they died on the chamber pot. They couldn't keep any food down. It was like what they call camp sickness. So, if you want to metagame, we're talking about cholera. And they'll say, that just minor people who've crossed her minorly, sometimes they'll lose a tooth, sometimes they'll, have a bad fall, break a rib, they'll get food poisoning. Their chickens will lay rotten eggs, and their cows will give sour milk, minor things like that. But it was getting pretty out of hand, and there was even talk about getting rid of her. But the local administrator said that no one was to harm her or lay hands on her. It was just too dangerous. So she's a nuisance that we're all supposed to just put up with, I guess.
Yeah, I see that. Huh.
You're taking an awful risk feeding those kids. You're lucky, with an 04, that she hasn't come by yet to see you with them.
Yeah, don't have that many teeth to lose to her, and my luck was never that good to begin with.
All right. We just hate to see anything happen to you. You seem a nice sort.
Thanks. Yeah, I look at those kids, and honestly, I see myself at their age. Hungry fishing village.
You turned out all right.
Yeah, I guess I did.
Okay, so you spend a few hours with the kids. You're lucky with your role that she will not be around today. She does sleep there in their little shanty on the sand. So she is there every day with them in the evenings. All right. If there's nothing else, then
If I get my information and I've got time to kill, I'm going to fish.
okay. All right. So, Chad, did you want to do anything else, or you've got enough?
I feel I've got enough, and now I realize I want to convene and share information before,
Okay, so you all get word. Then, Lucius, same deal. You're good.
He would probably swing back by the tavern first if it was later and see if the girls were up before he came back.
Make a luck roll.
All right. I can, well, I would say I can do that. I can roll dice. We'll see what happens. Yeah, 09.
Is that a hard success?
What is my luck? My luck is currently at a 32. So, yes.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
30 would be 15. It's not extreme. It's,
Okay, so not only are you there as the girls are waking up, the girls are all, they've all been given the afternoon to go to the bathhouse, and they invite you to go with them.
He does so. You do not see him until after dinner.
Okay, you're going to end up spending a little money because they invite you to go with them. Basically, so you're buying, meat pies and glasses of watered down wine at the market for 6 of these women.
Yeah.
But all 6, but it is so worth it.
Yeah. That's what he figures.
We're not going into details, but as a hedonist soldier on vacation from the duty in Syria to an island in Corsica at a bathhouse with 6 prostitutes, there's worse ways to lose 50 sesterci.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
You can role play that encounter on your own time with the camera off.
You can LARP it if you can find that. If you can make that happen, you want to LARP it, that's fine. But we're not role playing, and we're certainly not LARPing. I don't want to be involved in that LARP. Okay.
So he would have had thoughts to maybe ask questions, but then they all come out and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go," and it's just whoosh, forget it.
Yeah. Okay, so Lucius is late for dinner.
Okay.
And when you come back, you guys can talk and convene and make a plan. I'm going to mute my mic and listen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lucius, glad you could join us. It seems we have...
the girls struck him dumb.
Yes. They've struck him mute. Muted.
I'm sorry. I'm back now. Okay, I thought I wasn't there.
I'm
looking through papers and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, we could do that. We could role play waiting for you. Let's wait and just share the information.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Is that all right? It's just functionally.
So he kind of limps in a little bit, he's between the handball and the other stuff. He's a tad bit tender. So he comes in and he kind of drops his stuff by the door and reaches for a glass of wine and just sort of leans on the door frame. And you guys are waiting. Where the fuck were you at?
Exactly. I've got my arms crossed.
So I'm a little late, but I got some good information. I hope you guys didn't wait for me to eat. I
ate your share of the fish.
That is fair. That is fair. He kind of pushes off and walks over to the table or one of the divans, I guess, that are in the room and kind of just sprawls out on the thing.
So what'd you guys learn?
Well, I don't know what this one learned, but I know I learned. I went down to the market and I learned a little bit about some of the curses this woman has been sending, it appears that there's some kind of tolerance for this creature. If they're so afraid of her that they won't arrest her, they just will leave her alone, and she's free to steal and take what she wants from the market.
Yeah, the city administrator thinks she's too dangerous.
She,
this is.
No, she blinded her own brother-in-law when he tried to help the children.
I heard that too. We have 2 sources now on that. That's interesting.
3.
And 3. It did seem to me that would be the next step, is to talk to the brother-in-law.
Right.
Indeed. Apparently they were at a wedding and ate some spoiled shellfish, improperly prepared. Many people at the wedding died. Her and her husband both were sick. He had passed, but she lingered between life and death for weeks. Some of the men that I spoke to thought that perhaps at that time, when she was between worlds, between the veil, she was possessed by a spirit or a demon.
Certainly seems like that could be the case. I mean, I don't know anything past this world myself personally, but something tells me this falls into under our purview.
Horatius,
Yes.
I want you to make a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
I love to roll mythos. That's cool. It's a 14. I doubt that's low enough, though. Hang on. Hold the telephone.
It's been some of that luck.
No, you're kidding me. Well, so I've got a 9. I rolled a 14, and I'm impoverished in luck. I've got a 16 luck, guys.
No. I'm not sure you can use luck on Cthulhu Mythos, but
that's fair. Yeah, right.
And I definitely don't think that you should with a 16.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's a. I don't know what that luck is for. Is that right? I don't know what the consequences are. Nothing happens right now. Do I eat some shellfish?
No, you didn't make the luck. It was just you failed the Cthulhu Mythos roll. That's it.
Oh, luck. Yeah, got it.
So it doesn't ring a bell.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, the shellfish. That's interesting.
I had suggested perhaps that maybe they were poisoned. The men I spoke to didn't believe so, as it was not a family of significance. Although she apparently was from a fairly well-to-do family.
If the shellfish was part of the process by which this thing entered her, let's just suppose that's true for the moment. Then we should figure out where this fish came from. Who supplied it?
I suspect it was less the fish than the fact that she was almost killed.
Mm-hmm.
Although you may be correct.
Yeah, if she was, at death's door for a couple weeks, who knows what came through while the door was open?
Right. So you think it's more of a concern that she was sailing on the river Styx as opposed to the fish itself having an effect?
That's what I think.
That would be my guess.
Hmm. Well, certainly I think we need to talk to the brother-in-law. That seems the first stop. Also, did you hear that the house where they had stayed, she burned it down, or it burned down? Anybody else hear that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did know something about that.
Mm-hmm. So I wonder if there's something about the site that's interesting other than her being crazed.
We could go to the house or where the house was before, and if it hasn't been rebuilt, we could investigate there and see maybe there's some sigil scratch that shouldn't be there.
Yes. And Iavolenus, have you been able to actually get food to the children?
Yeah, I brought them some bread and fruit this morning.
Oh boy. It's good, it's admirable, and it's also worrying.
Well, he wasn't caught. Suppose there's no harm in that. The kids have to eat.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they won't be telling her that someone fed them.
Yes, just use discretion. I'm concerned if she discovers that we're on her trail too early, then we may lose initiative.
Yeah, some of the fishermen I talked to, they thought I was going to die for doing it.
Let me ask you this, Horatius. Do you believe that there is a chance to redeem her or save her if she is possessed by some foul spirit? Is there a way to separate it from her form, perhaps?
Interesting thought. Interesting theory.
But nothing that pops to mind.
No, I seem to have no memory of something like this in my past.
I just thought that with your venerable age, you may have come across something such as this before.
Evidently
like tips
not.
a glass of wine to you.
All right. So is this all we can do tonight? Is there marching orders for the morning?
Yeah, I mean, this is the evening meal. Should we should we visit the brother-in-law tonight or prefer to wait?
Probably wait till tomorrow.
Remember, this is a world without street lights. As soon as it gets dark, everyone's usually home.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't normally accept visitors, right? Like that would be like the morning thing.
Well, it would be really weird if somebody started knocking on your door after dark that you didn't know. You probably wouldn't want to let them in.
Yeah.
Especially
with this group.
Much like today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I suppose that they would just puzzle around for the rest of the night and make plans to do that in the morning. I mean, we couldn't investigate the site of the house in the dark, and doing it with torches seems, not the smartest. Like if something's going to be there, it's going to be something that's going to be hard to find, probably.
I do feel like we need to work on how to create creepier moods with our player actions. So maybe we should start investigating things at night with candles and. But I agree.
Okay, so what's the plan for the morning?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we want to check out if the burned remnants of the house are still around? Do we want to check those first?
I would suggest going to call on the brother-in-law first, as that would be sort of like the common procedure to have callers in in the early part of the morning.
Works for me.
I think Lucius probably gets up a little bit later than everybody else.
Oh God. All right. I believe we should have some conversations the next long journey we have about moderation, but not now. We have not time.
Okay, so first stop is the ruins of their house or the brother-in-law?
Brother-in-law.
Okay. You find out where he lives, but nobody learned his name.
That's true.
So you're at the house, and a woman comes and says, answers, "Can I help you?" I confused, I suppose, that strangers are visiting so early.
Yes, we're hoping to visit a man whose name escapes us.
The master of the house, the unfortunately blinded master of the house.
Oh, you mean my husband? Are you friends of his?
Apologies, we are not. We have come upon some information that we would like to discuss with him to find the truth of the matter.
Make a charm roll.
Oh, that's not me.
Then why are you then? Well, you spoke.
Well,
Yeah.
where the hell is it on the sheet?
I do that, though I don't roleplay it well.
53 out of 19. I'm in my armor. She's like, what?
Are you in your armor?
No, probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, you're off duty. You get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
All right. So she raises an eyebrow skeptically.
He looks sheepish. If he could look sheepishly at Horatius, and just kind of like.
I sort of shut him down. Listen, maybe let me just step aside. Listen, we would just like to discuss some stories that we've heard that are very interesting to us, and we think that we might be able to help him.
Okay, charm or persuade, either one.
It will definitely be a charm. Despite my Goldblum affect, I got a 65. So
Don't make it.
that's a fail. That's a fail. By 5. But I'm trying to think of how to push this. If there's a way I can double down, because on a 60, that's a reasonable risk to try again, right?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what the stakes are. She will shut you guys down. She will not allow access to him. She will immediately think that you guys are just looking to stir up trouble or upset him.
I mean, to be fair, all those things are true.
How about like pulling out a coin purse to be like, we could make it worth his while? Like, you can't.
Yeah.
Like I just kind of like nudge you, and I have like the back of my hand forward, and I'm like shoving a coin purse at your side.
Oh, well, certainly I'll double down with your money. This, listen, we really would like to talk to him, and I think we could make it worth your while. If you would just allow us to wait in your entryway here, and then ask him if perhaps he'd be interested in meeting with us for just a moment of his time.
And you're gonna give her the coins?
Yeah.
All right, roll your.
Any bonus? Or are they hard up at all?
I don't know.
No, I'm asking Oscar if is there any bonus to
guys.
to bribe?
It's a flat out fail at a 93.
Ew.
Not a botch, but
Slaps you in the face.
She tosses the coin back and she says, "Times may be difficult, but you insult us, sir. We're still, proud owners of our own land." And she like slams the door on you. So you're not going to be able to talk to the brother-in-law.
well, shit.
We kind of stand there for a minute.
You failed your botch with a 96, right?
No, it was a 93. It was a 93.
Well, yeah, that's not much better.
But that's my push. Yeah.
You hear her yell, "Lysias, fetch the dog!"
Oh god.
I quickly grab up all the coins off the board.
Okay, and while you're doing that, I am gone. Not
Right.
I really I want to disappear. That's my trick.
You get out of there really quickly
without being seen. Because what I want is to meet him some other way later, maybe like in the market or something. Follow him or something.
Okay, well,
so I don't want to be made.
The blind guy doesn't get out much, unfortunately.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Nor would he recognize me. Hiding my face. The irony.
That's so sad. Okay.
Horatius. I thought you
All
were
right, so
supposed to be a
that one
smart
goes.
guy.
That one tits up. What's your next plan?
I guess we head over to the ruins of the house if they're still there.
Okay, you head over to the ruins of the house.
As we are doing
It's the edge of
so,
town. It looks like there are lots of trees growing on the property, and you see the burned out foundation of the house. I mean, it's not burned out now because it's been several years, but you see the plot where there aren't any trees growing, where once was the outline of a house. You see a bit of a well where there was a barn. The barn is not burned, but it's falling down on itself. It hasn't been upkept. But this was a large piece of land. So her and her husband had to have been doing good at one point. And I need each one of you to make a luck check.
Oh, God, no.
botched it with a 98.
Yeah.
I passed 25 out of 32.
I failed, but normal fail.
Okay. It doesn't matter. He has the worst fail, and so yeah, it'll be Iavolenus.
He sets up, bursts into flames.
As you're walking around, you actually see like this lump in the ground that you thought was just like old rubble and stuff, and basically stand up, and you realize it's a woman with like very matted hair, wearing like almost like tattered robes that are like so dirty. As she was laying covered up on them, you could barely, you didn't even notice her. She's got a mad high score in stealth. And she said, and the woman just looks at you, and you see that her eyes are very, very blue. But they're like ringed with black, with black soot, and like many of her teeth are missing, and her nails are really long, and she just looks absolutely crazed. So I want each of you to make a sand check.
Wow.
01.
Okay, you're fine.
29 out of 50, pass.
You're fine.
38 on a 62 pass.
Yeah, you guys are fine. It's disturbing, but you're not shaken. And she says, I still own this land, and you're trespassing. And she says, you, the one who looks like a beast, are you the one feeding my children?
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I am. What are you going to do about it?
Oh, God.
Lucius just like puts up his hand like fucking Jurassic World or whatever. Is like, whoa, 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 whoa.
She just marches towards you at like almost a speed run.
Oh, God.
And puts a hand behind her back. What do you guys want to do?
Lucius backs up. I mean, I guess he wouldn't have his sword on him then necessarily, right? If they're on, like he would have a dagger.
You'd have to have it concealed. But almost everyone in the Roman Empire carries a concealed knife.
Yeah.
It's illegal, by the way, and everyone does it. I love that fact about ancient Rome.
So he kind of backs up his hands. He keeps his hands up and just sort of like backs up.
Okay.
As soon as she's in range, I'm throwing a punch.
Okay, and Chad? Are you muted? I can't hear a word you're saying.
I was muted. I have sirens, sorry. I'm going for like a tree line or a trench or hiding. I'm going away. I'm not going to get
So
in the way
two of you back up, and you're just waiting till she closes. She gets within 10 feet, and then she draws this big, rusty butcher knife that she's got on her. And she says, you get off my land, and you leave my children alone. She says, I'm not going to let you harm them.
I'm not
They're mine. They're my children.
Iavolenus, please, pleading from the ditch. Don't do it. Do
Can
not.
I do like a maneuver to disarm her?
Oh God.
You're gonna rush her. Okay.
Yep.
What's your dex?
My dex is 45.
Her dex is 55. Do we roll? Is this initiative?
I think she just goes first because she's got the higher dex.
Okay.
But what's her build?
Just a 1. She's tall, but she's not, a beast.
Okay, because I've got a. So I think
Okay,
it's
so
just.
you were rushing to try and disarm her.
Yeah, I think it's just an opposed fighting brawl roll.
Oh my god. Alright, she rolls a 9 on her lunge with the knife.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
Well, that beats my my 68. So.
Alright, so hold on. So you weren't wearing any kind of armor? No, like leather tunic or... Okay. So... And she's got a special ability, I'm afraid.
I bet she does.
It's nice knowing you, Evelina.
And I'm telling you, I will kill you guys. Because then I'll just get the joy of having you roll up a new character.
If this goes TPK on a little side adventure...
Hey, those things happen. I actually rolled really bad. So she stabs you for 3. I'm going to say she slashes you with this rusty butcher knife.
Ooh, Dennis.
And if she hits you, you're like, you didn't think a woman could hit that hard? But you can tell she just nicked you. But she's got some she's got some lunatic strength happening here. And so she slashes you for 3 points. And she says, and just yells, "I won't tell you again. Get off of my land. Don't make me kill you." And you see that she starts foaming at the mouth.
So, yeah, Lucius is just like, this is not the time. Iavolenus, we should retire.
So you hear your companions who are now 2 rounds behind you,
please,
screaming to back away from her.
Don't do it. Do not poke the witch.
I'm gonna leave, but those kids need food and they need shoes.
She's like, "Don't tell me how to raise my children." And she says, "They're fine. We're all fine." And she just stalks away. And she's screaming and she says, "Shut up. Just shut up." And she's holding her temples. And she's like, "Just go away, please. Just go away." And you don't know if she's talking to you or something else.
I kind of put my arm around your shoulder and sort of steer you away, and we should probably get that looked at. That knife was as dirty as could be.
Yeah.
Anybody can perform first aid, because I will test these infection rules.
I will try it.
I'm just.
Oh, that's why you made it rusty, you jerk.
I'm just looking for an excuse to play test the rules for catastrophic infection in Cthulhu Invictus.
Okay.
If one of you has to die for that play test to happen, I'll do it.
Oh lordy.
Just
Okay.
How urine? It'll be fine.
I got base. I'm gonna roll first aid.
Okay. I have base as well.
I actually do have points in it.
I have. I got a 91.
He severs your arm.
No, 91. I'm not
sticking your finger in it.
It's like a zombie movie. Oh, we gotta remove that. You're gonna turn.
Tourniquet his neck.
I wave these 2 idiots off.
Okay, roll it.
I get a regular success.
Okay, you clean out the wound. And you're surprised at how deep it is. It's like she barely swung at you, and it cleaved in a good inch in your forearm. And you realize she was probably capable of killing you. It was surprising how strong and vicious she was. Well, maybe not, considering you were amply warned that she was dangerous.
You guys know how to use a bow?
I don't. You're not. It's not sinking in. Listen, it's not by force that we're going to win this war. We need to figure out what's going on. We need to figure out. There may be a peaceful way out of this. There may be a way not to confront her in open combat, and therefore get the kids away.
You forget that we tried that with Kenner, and he reneged on his deal.
Well, actually, that hasn't happened yet. You don't know.
Okay.
This is in the interim. You haven't gotten the message that you're going back to the Lost Valley.
Right, so diplomacy works all the time. So there.
Clearly, it worked on the woman back at the house. I still don't know why you guys didn't say, we're here because we want to help your niece and nephew.
Well,
you were there too, dude.
My memory is that all three of us were right there, standing there. You just don't know. We got to talk about you speaking up when it's time, when you have ideas.
I tried to say something.
I could see the.
Oh, did you?
Word in edgewise.
Oh, really?
Bandaging up his arm.
Couldn't get a word in edgewise. Okay, well, next time you're the mouthpiece. We'll try that.
All right. Maybe we'll get something done next time.
This guy. The death of me. Quite likely.
So, Lucius just sidles up to you and says, well, you picked him.
Oh, you're gonna put this on me? It's like a blame chain. Listen, you were there too, and I don't remember you doing very well. With your suggestion of, let's give him some coins. That was a great idea.
Oh, it's official. You guys are an adventuring group.
It could have worked. She must not have liked the cast to your eyes or the set of your jaw.
Well, that's not nice. What's wrong with my jaw? I'm starting to feel vain.
Look, he slaps you on the back and he says, "Look, let's go get a drink."
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay. Short time later at a tavern, you guys are having a drink or two, and it's lunchtime. So, the special of the day are,
shellfish.
Crabs boiled in garlic butter,
no.
or mutton pie, or mutton hand pies with a savory relish.
Oh God, that sounds good.
I'm getting the mutton.
Probably both.
I'll have both, but I'll only eat until full.
Okay. So you're eating this delicious lunch at this little, basically the place you stopped is one of these touristy seaside places for people to grab lunch while they're in the middle of shopping at the market. All right, so you guys need to come up with a plan.
A better plan.
Did you notice that she was holding her head and saying "get out"? She may not have been speaking to us at the time. She may indeed be inhabited by some evil spirit.
Well, you can certainly see how those rumors would have surfaced if she keeps that behavior up.
Indeed. I would not believe it for not our experience in this shadow war that we are a part of.
Indeed. I feel quite confident that she has these abilities. I know that people can be unduly superstitious about things that are not real, but an entire town and the authorities quaking in fear, it seems something must have happened.
We could watch to see if she leaves and perhaps go back to the house. I don't know that I don't know that we'll find anything of use. I don't know if it's worth the risk.
Yeah.
Unless we go in more prepared. I mean, if we grab our armor and weapons and proceed out, but
You think
it will
to
make
the
a show.
witch? To the witch?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think armor is the solution here. Are you... Subtlety. I must teach you both more subtlety.
Okay, Mr. Subtle. What do you suggest?
Oof. I wonder if she has a source of power that we could... Well, if she's indeed possessed, then we need to separate the bad spirit from herself. That's one solution. But we don't know any such magic ourselves.
I wonder if we could sedate her. Like, get her drugged and passed out.
Yes, it's true. It's true. I wonder if there's a way. Yeah. What can I just do a sort of occult on exorcism, essentially?
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
There are. Is that successful?
It's not. I thought this guy had a cult and he doesn't. It's a base 5, so no.
All right, you can ask the others. Someone may have put points into it.
Nope.
Oh,
well, you know he's trying to roll under a 5.
Nope.
27.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
You suppose bringing her to a reputable temple, or at least consulting a reputable temple, and seeing if they offer these kinds of services, like beseeching the god to purify someone of a bad spirit.
Yeah. Well, is there a temple? We know of a temple in this. Oh, there is, right? Yeah,
there are several temples here, probably.
Yeah. Well, but there was a temple involved in one of the stories, right? Am I wrong?
In the last one, I believe we didn't go to the temple. It was where the dark young. It was in Kenner's world, and we did not go there.
I thought there was something about a temple, because I remember hearing church and then corrected to temple in this session. Right?
I'm not
wedding?
sure.
I remember that.
Okay. All right.
Oh, the wedding was in the wedding where she was almost killed and 40 people died is actually the next town over. Whatever happened to her didn't happen here. It happened when she was visiting the next town over for her cousin's wedding. And it was at that wedding that 40 people were stricken, and she was only one of a handful of survivors.
Yeah, don't you think possibly a visit to that temple, get closer to the incident and see if there's more information there?
I suppose we could.
Yeah.
Unless you have a better first plan.
Hooray, we're back on track.
Oh, okay. I see a glow over there in the next town. I don't understand.
I didn't want to have an idea roll because I know you guys are smart enough just to think about it for a few.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever happened to her didn't happen here. When she came back, she was sick.
Yeah.
She was technically still unconscious when she came back.
So this takes a while for this to come around. Well, we could try this. Well, what about that? And you're just like throwing your hands up because we're like, well, if we kill it, and you're like, no. And then Rodriguez is like, well, if we kill it,
the wine here is really good, and it took a while to figure out. So basically, the restaurant starts filling up, and they're like, do you guys want to order dinner? And you realize you've been here for like 3.5 hours, and the sun's getting low in the sky, and the dinner crowd's rolling in.
We have a little fist fight with a witch, and then we just, go off and get drunk for a while all afternoon and scratch our heads. But yeah, okay.
Technically, you're on vacation.
Yeah, that's right.
Lucius orders dinner for sure.
This is how we do a mythos investigation when we're also doing R&R.
Okay. So, yeah, you order dinner and you plan, hey, let's go over to the next town over, which is... Oh, give me a second. Pala. The town is called Pala. You find out Pala is about a day's walk from here, but you can cover that in half a day if you've got, if you take a cart or, if you own a horse. But not a lot of people own horses.
Would we have anything like that at our disposal at the estate, or no?
Well, you know that the caretaker does send a wagon with a donkey, a small horse to the market and come back with like a wagon worth of food every 2 weeks. So you know that there's one at the estate.
Okay, so Lucius then says to Horatius, perhaps we can borrow the horse that they use for a market, so that you don't have to walk all the way.
Why don't we just take the cart?
We could.
You're making another old man joke? Is that it?
I am respecting your place as one of our venerable elders. If you wish to walk, indeed, you can walk as well.
No, I'm convinced. I'm convinced. Yes. Let's ask her friend.
Okay, so you get back to the house. They said, sure, you can borrow the cart. I won't need it back for 4 days.
I should be
planning to go up the coast somewhere.
Shall we? I mean, this guy's.
Yeah.
Right? Tell him,
No,
right?
he's not selling.
Yeah, I look to you because you yelled at me for speaking. So.
Oh, come on.
We're just going up to Pala for probably a day trip.
Okay.
Do you? I give a glance to my companions. Do you know anything about a woman who may have powers after having suffered some food poisoning, and who has seizures in the market and curses people? Is this ringing any bells?
Oh, yeah. Cyan.
Yes.
I knew her before. She used to be a lovely girl. Shame about what happened. I don't know if all the talk of a demon is true. I mean, I lost my wife, 20 years ago, giving birth to our third. And it's enough to drive one mad if you truly love one another. So I don't know if there is a demon inside her, or if some dark spirit took hold of her, or if it's just the grief of losing your husband and, I don't know. But as for the powers she wields, well, there have been more than a few people who've seen them and suffered from them. Her curses have been rather specific. Too much so to be considered coincidence.
Yes, we're getting that impression. And do you know about any strange dark powers in Pala, where this was?
Well, I know that many people recovered as she did. She was one of, I think, 9 who survived the mass poisoning.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, but she was the only one who lived here.
Oh God.
Have there been any reports from travelers through Pala of any
I don't know.
strange?
I don't get out that way much.
Oh my
Indeed,
God.
indeed.
Oh no.
So then he says, do you know were they a religious family? Was there?
He basically says she was a lovely girl. She was from Pala. The families had business dealings. It was a arranged match, but they seemed very happy. They had two beautiful children, pretty much one after another. It looked like I remember her, when her mother was alive, saying how easy it seemed for her, and her mother came from a big family, and they were hoping that they'd have many children because they had a large plot of land. And then, everything just went awry. The gods can be fickle.
And no one attempted to claim their property after she burned it down?
Her brother-in-law stepped in, said that he wanted to sell the property, adopt the children, wanted to bring her into the house. I mean, it was his brother's wife. It was tragedy, but he had a family responsibility to care for his brother's widow and children. And she fought with him and cursed him. And ever since then, everyone's just been too terrified of her to really step in.
Yeah, are you on good terms with the brother-in-law?
I know his family.
Mm-hmm. Is there any chance we could set up an introduction?
His wife really doesn't like people to come by the house.
Yeah, we know
he gets very. He's not dealt with his affliction well. And he's often angry and very sad. I've heard rumors that he's tried to take his own life. So the wife is very protective of him.
Does she not leave the house to go to market, or?
I don't think that she can. She has to run the household now that he's, It's a shame. The poor man was just trying to do the right thing by his brother and her widow. His widow.
Yes. Well, thank you for the horse.
No problem. I'll have one of the boys have it hooked up, hitched out front with a couple days' food for you.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you.
As always, you are a gracious host.
We do our best here. All right, and he says, and hopefully it'll be a good example for the next caretaker, as I'm looking to retire. And he smiles at you.
At me?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, this guy's about like 15 years older than you.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that he's like damn near 70?
Yeah.
How old is your character? Like 55?
Yeah, he's not that old. Hang on. 52. So
right, this guy's in his mid-60s. He's like a great-grandfather. He's like, it's a lot, it's a lot of responsibility, but it's nothing that, a week or two of training.
I believe I would enjoy it.
Okay. He says, well, don't get yourself killed before then.
Well, thank you.
He says she has killed people, or so they say, if one believes those stories.
Lucius's eyes flick over to Iavolenus.
Yeah, same. Look.
All right, we're gonna stop laying blame, and we're gonna skip ahead to the morning.
But it's so fun to lay blame.
I know. I know. We've got to take a short break at 10, so we've got like 20 minutes.
Okay.
We still need to take that break, right? Will?
Yep. As far as I know, I'm waiting for a text from Gina for when she's ready to be picked up. Usually it's around 10.
Who has the coolest name of anyone I've ever encountered, by the way.
Yeah, that was... She still laughs at your initial comment on that of, were her parents goths?
His wife's name is Regina Nyx, which in Latin translates into Queen of Night. Or like the translate the Queen of Night or Queen of Darkness. And I'm like, so I'm like, I refer to her as the Queen of Darkness. I'm like, that is such a fucking cool name. I'm like, Regina Nyx? The Queen of Night? Holy hell. Okay, and only nerds would get that, I guess.
Yeah.
But gee, thanks. All right, so next morning the cart is there, and out front is are the two kids. They're like holding hands. The little girl's 6 and the little boy's 8. It's the first time the two of you have seen them.
Huh. He looks over to Iavolenus. I assume these are the children?
Yes.
Okay.
What's up, kids?
Neptunus comes forward and he says, "We heard that our mother stabbed someone, and we were hoping that you wouldn't go to the authorities."
Oh, that's heartbreaking, man.
They said that we're supposed to try and keep her out of trouble, but she wanders off every day. And I'm looking after my sister, and my mom just wanders off, and I'm really sorry, and I'm sorry that she hurt you. And he just starts crying. And he says, but they said that they would stone her to death if she ever killed anyone else.
I go down on one knee in front of the kid and like give them both a hug, and to kind of like settle them down, I start saying, she didn't get me that good. Just, let me tell you about the time I got hit in the face with a shield. Gladiator war story style.
Okay. He actually, as you start, he just pushes you away, and he says, look, she already knows who you are. And sometimes she follows us. So thank you for not pressing any charges on her. But maybe it would be better if you spent your time elsewhere. And the little girl is crying, and he just says, it's for the best. And he says, goodbye. Thank you for your kindness, sir. And he takes his sister by the hand, and she's like waving at you, and she's crying, and they just kind of he hurries off with her.
It's a very dusty morning.
Sad.
It's a very unfortunate situation. It is best that we are involved. Try to give these children a chance.
You guys are the worst Romans ever. Romans would be like, see ya. But I'm glad. I'm glad that you're not good Romans, because then you'd be really shitty people.
Well,
again, if the kid was an adult and tried to stab him, he'd kill him without thinking about it. But
Right.
to have a little kid not have an opportunity, it bugs him.
No, and it should, because you're a decent human being. Okay, so you take the cart. It's a half day's ride down a coastal road in Corsica. I think we rolled up that it was like summer, so it's actually picturesque and restful. And there's a guy with like a cart at the halfway point, and he's selling fruit and wine, and he's like, cold water, chilled wine, from a mountain spring. And no shit, he's got jugs of still cold water. So he's got like a little scenic stop. So you can get
Who's
a
driving
snack.
the car?
Well, I'm not going to make anybody roll unless you get into a cart chase
Sure.
or a chariot race. But yeah, it's who wants to be in the cart, riding the cart? I mean, technically, one of you can steer, and the other two can just sit in the back.
That sounds like a job I would do, sit in the back.
I'll drive.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not like you're going to get lost. There's one main road.
So
I mean, there's side roads for like to farms and the places where people live. But
I would love some chilled water.
okay.
That sounds lovely.
So you spend a few sesterci, but it's definitely worth it on this hot day, going through the on the coastal road. And by shortly after midday, early afternoon, you pull into the town of Pallas, where you know no one.
Mm.
So you're going to need to find a place to stable the cart and to gain accommodations.
Yes. Well, we look for a stable.
You find one. It's, you're not in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
And you stable. How long will you be staying?
Couple of days.
Okay, and they tell you the fees per day, and they'll, put the donkey out in the paddock and feed it, and it comes with a brushing. They get a brushing a day. It's like they just list their services, and they'll store the cart.
okay.
Good.
And they say, "Oh, do you have a place to stay yet?"
We do.
No.
And he says, "Well, my sister runs a boarding house right up the street. She'll give you a good price. Just tell her you're boarding with me."
Okay.
Oh, lovely. Perfect.
Okay. So again, it's simple rooms. It comes with breakfast. The beds are uncomfortable, but the view is spectacular.
Lovely.
So you've got a place to stay. Her name is Casilla.
Would it? So I guess we would have had this conversation before we left. Are we bringing our gear? If there's potentially 9 more of these,
I think
possessed
that possibly in the back of the wagon you could cover a suit of Larigma segment. God, how do we even pronounce this? Larica segmenta in the beneath some.
Yeah, I assume
you can even get away with concealing the pilum in the hay.
Yeah. I assume so. I just want to bring it up before we get any further.
Okay.
Yeah. So as they're walking then to the inn, then he would have, he wouldn't have the armor on, but kind of like carry football pads. So he's got his arm through the neck, and he has all of his stuff together.
Yep, no problem.
Okay.
So yeah, we go arrange rooms with Casilla. And
She's like, so what brings you to is it Pala?
Pala, yeah.
Yeah, what brings you to Pala?
We heard it's an interesting place, and we are taking rest in what's the other town?
Rubra.
Rubra. We're taking rest in Rubra, and thought we'd make the trip.
Oh, well, welcome. Let me know if you need any guidance. I know everyone, and all the best places to eat and shop. I've lived here my whole life.
It's lovely.
And she says we put out a modest supper. We put out a modest dinner at sunset. And there'll be a small communal table set up with bread and nut and fruits in the morning if you wish to grab a quick snack before heading out.
Do you get many visitors? Is this a common stop on a route?
We do get a fair amount of visitors, especially in the summer. People come from all over. We're closer to the ocean, so it's a little cooler.
Indeed, the view is beautiful here.
Thank you. The house has been in my husband's family for 3 generations.
Are there any? I'm a bit of a food fan. What are the specialties here?
She lists them, you know, and she says, strangely enough, there's a place that does really great chicken.
Mm. So
you
close.
Would think that a lot of seafood here, but you know.
Mm. Yeah, no seafood.
Oh, there's plenty of seafood, but
good.
You know, so you just small talk with her.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess on the seafood note, I'm kind of looking for, like a bunch of people died from seafood here, so I'm looking for a reaction.
You mentioned that.
Do not mention.
What did you say? Do not.
Do not.
Yeah, well, I'm sort of thinking don't shit where you eat.
Okay, so you don't want to pump her for info?
Not.
Okay.
I think Lucius would ask, since we're new in town and we've had a, safe and successful journey, we'd like to pay our respects at the temple. Can you steer us in the direction of the?
Well, there are many temples in Palace. Did you have one in particular?
He kind of looks to Horatius like,
We didn't figure out what temple, right?
We did not.
Ah, son of a bitch.
She says, well, we have a temple to Jupiter, of course. We have a temple to Neptune. There is a temple to Isis. And there's a new small temple that's been here for a few years now I'm going to mangle this name. Asclepius?
Well, I'm going to actually go to the Temple of Asclepius.
Because he is?
The god of healing.
The god of healing.
I believe our decision has been made then. To the Temple of Asclepius.
Okay. And we can keep going until you get your text?
Yep.
Okay, so you head over to the Temple of Asclepius in the late afternoon, and you see that it's actually a converted granary that, basically a large warehouse-type building that's been redecorated. And there's a statue of Asclepius, and there's a couple of servants, and they're kind of cleaning up. And you see that off to the side of the main temple, there's like a whole nother wing that it's almost like a hospital, and there are several people in being cared for by a retinue of slaves. And one girl, dressed in white, comes and says, "Welcome to the Temple of Asclepius. I am Acolyte Saria. How can I help you? Are you in need of healing? Do you wish to make a donation?"
I could use a little bit of healing, and I would like to make a donation as well.
Well, please come in.
Yes.
And she says this already, and she examines your wounds. Like, oh, this has already been dressed. We can put a stitch in it, but I don't really think it needs to. It's already healing on its own, so you should be fine. Okay. If it's painful, I can give you something for that. Or if you wish a blessing, I can see if our high priest is available.
That won't be necessary. I dressed the wound myself. I just wanted to make sure. It's been a couple of years. I wanted to make sure it was done right.
Nope, it's been done correctly.
Thank you. And
all right, I'm gonna. She doesn't look like she's from Corsica. And about half of the slaves don't look like they're from Corsica. They're all darker skinned, and they are actually speaking with a bit of an accent that it's hard for you to place.
Could I try to place it?
Make a hard success on a no roll.
Cool.
Nope, I can't place it.
Yeah, 02. I nail it. Whenever it is.
She's Carthaginian.
Oh, really?
Like old school, old family Carthaginian.
Oh, wow. Oh,
And
so
most
not
of
an
the slaves
outsider. Sorry?
Yeah, most of the slaves are too.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Carthaginian Empire was here in Corsica, right?
Oh, yes.
So that makes sense, yeah. Wow.
But she doesn't look Corsican. Like an old school Carthaginian family who's been living in Corsica since the days of the Republic. They wouldn't have a Carthaginian accent. They all sound like they're right off the boat.
Oh, yeah.
And granted, Carthage is in the province of Africa, so it's part of the empire. They're just not locals.
Yeah. It's right south of Sicily. It's Tunisia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Check out the brain on Horatius.
That's fascinating. And this is a new temple, right? That's what we heard.
Yes, we've been here for about 3 years.
Oh, that's fascinating. And what brought you across the water to here? Why?
Well, my master came to see if he could be of service after the tragedy.
Oh, I see.
And Lucius just says tragedy?
Yes, there was a mass poisoning at a wedding, and there were scores of people killed, but many, many more lingering between life and death. The high priest, my master Hamilcar, was able to nurse many of them back to health and restore to some semblance of sanity a few of the unfortunates who survived. I don't mean that they were unfortunate they survived, but most of those who survived were not well.
Mhm.
Their minds had been damaged by their near brush with death.
Truly a shame.
Yes, but some good has come of it. We've served the community faithfully ever since, and become part of Pala.
This is a fascinating story. I would love to speak to this priest about his work.
Well, certainly. Let me see if I can arrange a meeting.
Was it ever determined who had...
And she lingers.
I give her.
Sure.
I think I can do 10 sesterces. Yeah, let's do 10 sesterces. That's what I got.
Okay. You give her the 10. She looks at you and you said, "It's what I got."
Lucius pulls out a coin purse and dumps some coins in her hands, and he asks, "Was it ever determined who was the perpetrator of the poisoning, or to what ends they sought to murder so many innocent people?"
Her eyebrow raises, and she said, "These are questions best answered by the high priest. I'm sure that he will be available for dinner this evening. If you'd like to return to the temple, I'll make sure
Indeed, my
we'll
apologies.
see you in a few hours."
That sounds
So
great.
basically, she sets up the meeting for you guys to come back in a few hours so you can meet with him.
I'd like to get a read on her if she's feeling wary now with the raised eyebrows.
Insight roll.
Yeah. 14 is a success at least.
She thought it was an odd question. Most people accept that it was an accident, that it was tainted food.
Right.
So for you to use the word murder, it was surprising to her.
Okay.
And you get the thing that she wasn't like wary, like she was more like, well, let me not say too much because it's not my place to offend or turn you guys away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's not actually gave her a big bag of money.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right. Is there anything you want to do before then? You've got a few hours.
I would. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say poke around the temple a little bit. I'd kind of like to get a lay of the land, anything weird, everything check out culturally, as far as this being Asclepius.
All right, everybody make a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
I made it.
Ooh, I
Fail.
way failed.
In fact, I got a hard success.
No shit. A hard success on a mythos.
Did you roll a 1?
I rolled a 3. My mythos is 6.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay. As you are looking through the hospital, you hear that acolyte, whatever her name was.
I wrote it down. I don't know.
Okay.
Saria.
You see Saria, somebody who had come in and they're like hacking, they're coughing quite a bit. And, she's treating them with hot broth and heated towels, and, making him breathe in a vapor. And she puts her hand on his head to convey a blessing. And it's a mix of a Carthaginian prayer, but it ends with a couple of words that belong to one of the what is commonly known as the fallen kingdoms. And as she chants those words, the guy's cough immediately starts to subside a little bit, and he appears to be breathing a little better.
Hey, Horatius, I think something not right is going on here.
Yes. What have you found?
That prayer she just blessed that guy with, the guy who's coughing.
Mm-hmm.
That started in Carthaginian and ended in language of the fallen kingdoms.
Does that ring a bell?
The fallen kingdoms are like a term for like Atlantis, Mu, Hyperborea,
Okay.
Stygia.
Okay.
These kingdoms that are supposedly practice high science and magic.
Got it. Wow.
Usually when you hear phrases in the kingdom, the fallen empire, language of the fallen empires, it's usually involved in spell casting.
Yeah. Now, and it can be good or bad. This isn't an immediate marker of bad mythos mojo.
Well, she used it to help heal someone's cough.
Yeah. The road of good intentions.
Slippery slope there. It's a slippery slope.
But okay.
It is a temple of Asclepius.
Mm. Okay. Well,
we need to tread lightly.
And I didn't expect him to make a hard success on a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't expect you to look for creepy stuff in the really super helpful temple.
Well,
but that all happened, so here we are. And to keepers less experienced than me, this is how you just flow with the players. Unexpected shit happens. Don't freak out. Just take a calm step back and view the opportunities for good role play.
Mm-hmm.
They did something unexpected that was and backed up by a really cool roll. So we're gonna change the course a little bit, and I'm gonna give them a little bit extra, and we're going to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And this is why we playtest adventures, because someone's going to dig into it like a gremlin at an engine cowling.
Yeah, now if I ever publish this, I've got to go back and write like 500 words.
Yeah.
If your players are investigating the temple.
Yeah. So perhaps we should take our leave and investigate around the town if there are 9 other potentially affected people.
8 other,
Okay.
but yeah.
So
yeah.
you don't have a lot of time because you've got to be back here in a few hours. But if let's roll. Each one of you roll a charm. Basically, you're engaging people in conversation and trying to steer it. And it's not like persuade and fast talk. You're not like digging in. You're just trying to get people talking. All right.
Fail.
02.
Oh boy.
More than.
So you find that one girl, that one older woman that works in the flower shop and says, "Well, I'm not one to gossip, but." So you get all the clues.
Yes.
What was it? 02?
It's a Clunami. Yeah, it was an 02.
Okay. It was a party 3 years ago. There was a mass poisoning. 23 people died. Of those 23 people who died, 12 more got very, very sick and fell unconscious within hours. Of those 12 people who fell unconscious, she knows that one of them returned to her home. Her family came and brought her back home. So she doesn't know what happened to that person, but you do.
Yeah.
And of the other 11, only 3 of those made a full recovery. The others became simpletons. That their minds were little more than that of children. But a few were very they became violent and unhinged, very difficult for their families to manage. And those all they all wandered off. They've all vanished. But of those who were simple, the priest Hamilcar came from Carthage, set up his temple, brought them in. They say they conducted some rituals in the temple at night, and that when these rituals were over, these people were not cured, but they were helped a great deal. They became much more easier to manage for their families.
A wonder of modern medicine. Did anyone ever find out exactly why this had happened? Was someone attempting to take down one of the prominent families here, or is it a horrible accident?
Well, the doctors examined them, and they could find no evidence of poisoning. Some experts came from the government and even spoke to everyone and performed an investigation, and spent a lot of time interviewing the 3 people who survived and were not affected with madness. And all 3 of them left. They left Palace with these government officials. Quite suddenly, too. One of them was due to be married.
Interesting.
Rather mysterious, but some people say that that's proof that it was a poisoning. But these were just common folk. There was no one of real importance there. I mean, some landed families, but no one of senatorial rank. We're just, these were just plebeian families.
Yeah.
An unfortunate series of events, I suppose.
These things do happen.
Lucius would buy a bouquet of flowers to bring back to the hotel, to the inn,
Okay.
for the. I have her name written down here somewhere. Casilla.
Yep.
Okay.
Just be
Very
careful because she is married.
Indeed, it's just a token of appreciation for the hospitality that she has shown.
And for the information you just got from the florist.
It's more for that, yeah. Without outright just pay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I get a feeling this Hamilcar priest probably knows a lot about what's going on. The real question is how much of it is he gonna be willing to share with us?
Agreed.
I assume very little.
I see no sign that he may be complicit. Does anyone else feel suspicious about?
I suspect everyone and their motivations comes with the territory.
That's fair. I'm looking for evidence, and I see none. That the possibility's there, but I just see no cause for suspicion yet. I want to make sure no one else did.
It sounds like he came in real quick after the poisoning.
Okay, that is
The people who did recover disappearing like that, leaving town suddenly. That sounds suspicious.
Okay.
Well, taken by government officials. I mean, could this be
Government
functionaries of? Well, but could it be functionaries of the Shadow War? Maybe they determined that they had been, even though they recovered, had been afflicted. Perhaps they wanted to use those people to their advantage, so they would be easier to handle theoretically than someone who was mindless and violent.
And maybe Hamilcar reported their existence to those government officials.
Certainly possible. As you pointed out, he seemed to have swooped in afterwards. I mean, he does seem to be helping the community, regardless of whatever their true intent may be.
Well, on the other hand, you do have situations where you can cause a problem that you then solve, like, say, someone who sets a fire and then becomes a hero by reporting it to the authorities. Temple has gained from this.
In my experience, the two types of people most motivated by self-interest are priests and doctors.
There is nothing wrong with self-interest. Self-interest
No,
drives the world.
It's exactly, you never appeal to a person's better nature because you never know if they have one. You appeal to their self-interest. That's how you get things done.
I must agree. This is wisdom.
Indeed.
Yes, I'm glad that that you share some concerns, because So when we go into this, let's not be blindly trusting. But I think that's not a danger here.
Okay, so it's 10:15, just hears about. Do we want to keep going? Do you need to break to go pick up Queen of Night?
I haven't heard from her yet.
Okay, I'm just worried about going too much further and then having to stop. So if we want to do the dinner with Hamilcar, let's definitely do that. Unless it's getting late for people and they want to stop, I can keep going.
I'm good. It's only 8:00 for me, so
Yeah, I'm good.
West Coasters.
Yeah.
I can always, if we're in the middle of something, I can tell her I'll be there in 10. So.
Okay, no problem. So, all right. So dinner is in the his quarters in the back. Actually, he does this outside. He has a beautiful garden set up with lots of medicinal plants and herbs growing, and they've got some torches set up and a like kind of a fire pit with a brazier, and he's got a couple of acolytes, playing music, and he invites you to sit and welcome. I'm Hamilcar, my temple. I heard that you came seeking some advice on an injury and wish to speak further of the matter that brought us here to this island, to Pala. And may I get your names? My associate was remiss.
My name is Iavolenus. I was the injured party.
Well, she said that you were on the mend, so Asclepius be praised.
Certainly. And in regards to the...
He looks to the other two.
Horatius.
Lucius.
Well, please sit and let us enjoy our first course while you tell me why you've come.
Ooh, what is in the first course? Yes, let's talk about that.
The first course is a 3 cabbage salad with walnuts and a nice vinaigrette.
Oh, lovely. This vinegar. Where is this from?
I hate playing with Epicureans.
That is the equivalent of like, oh, and who's this guy's name? And who's this guy's name?
And what are we having to eat?
Sorry. That was nice.
I'm gonna have to make a random table of like gourmet meals in the Roman Empire.
Yeah, for me.
Just for you, Chad.
3 cabbage salad. That was damn good right off the top of your head. It didn't even occur to me that I was forcing it.
It's almost St. Patrick's Day, so I've got cabbage.
Okay.
Like, what? Oh, God damn it. All right, so whatever.
Anyway.
So as you're eating, he's willing to talk about it. And he talks about the tragedy and how they came and that there were people still in comas. And when they woke up, they were insane, and how they ministered to them. And that both he and his one assistant and a few servants that they had with us for this relief mission were so embraced by the community that they were encouraged to remain. And he said it's lucky that we did remain, because some of the people who were, had been afflicted couldn't make full recoveries. They still needed long-term medical care, and we were able to treat them. And although, unfortunately, we were not able to restore all that they had lost through through this unfortunate accident, we were able to bring them back as much as Asclepius would allow in his good grace. And now they are leading comfortable lives, and they're not as much of a burden to their families.
And we understand that there was one woman who survived the tragedy, but was removed to the next town over. I forget the name.
Rubra.
Yes, we heard the similar stories, but we did not have a name, and we did not even know what city she'd been relocated to.
So if you got a cart, she's a half day that way. Name is Diane. And, well...
Is she, what are her symptoms? He seems very concerned and interested. He says, has she made a full recovery?
No, she is...
Is she simple, or is she violent?
Where do you think I got this from?
I see. That's why you've come.
Yes, we'd like to try and help her and her family if we can. We understand this is a tragic occurrence. Her madness is not her fault. But
You understand what you do have some idea what you're actually asking. He looks gravely at each one of you.
No. It would be best if you could be clear about what you think we're asking.
You wish me to use the abilities of the temple to help heal, to at least heal this woman, perhaps restore some of her lost sanity?
Yes, and the rumors are, whether true or not, that there is something residing in her.
Do you believe these rumors?
Well, we saw her grabbing at her head and screaming, shut up, get out."
Yeah, so so there are two ways to interpret. One is that there is something residing inside her, some terrible homunculus. On the other hand, it could be she's sort of simple in a strange way. That makes sense. Her sanity is not right.
Has she hurt anyone?
Yes.
Has she hurt anyone in ways that cannot be explained through nature?
Yes.
Yes.
And the community has not dealt with her? These things are illegal, after all.
They fear her.
She's been deemed too dangerous.
She has received a pass, as it were.
And she hasn't killed anyone.
She has once. We are to understand that she has killed one person, and the threat has been if she had killed someone else, that they would stone her if they were able.
The last time the Vigiles tried to seize her, everyone around her in a crowded marketplace began throwing up.
And she has blinded someone.
She's very dangerous. Then this won't be easy.
Can I get a read on him about all this? Because, with all the suspicions, I just want to make sure that he's not seeing an opportunity here as opposed to legitimately trying to help us. Am I?
Yeah, I would like to make that insight roll as well. No.
I guess insight rolls around then.
I failed.
It's a good thing I rolled. I got an 8.
Yes.
Which is an extreme success.
Yes.
Feels like we're all either rolling in the 90s or rolling in the aughts.
I agree.
All right, Lucius, you kind of, everybody else kind of can't really get a read on him, but you're picking up that he is both concerned and excited.
Okay.
Those are the two things that you would get from him.
Okay. I obviously don't say anything now. I just sort of make a mental note that,
and he says, all right, there are... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that there's something else that's going on that, he is aware of or, wants to put to his use or whatever.
Okay, so there are two ways we can proceed. I am best equipped to deal with her here.
That would be problematic. She will not let anyone near her and attacked Iavolenus the last time we encountered her.
Now, it would be an additional expense, but I could travel back with you and set up quarters to perform the ritual we'll need to perform. And when I say we, I'll need all of your help performing this ritual. This will not be a simple thing. I'll teach you what needs to be done, but we need to handle it together.
And how do you?
You'll need to subdue her.
Herein lies the problem.
physically,
still
or
think our best bet is to trick her into taking some sort of drug, a knockout potion.
I could brew a draft for you. If you can manage to get her, it doesn't matter. It won't affect the ritual.
Yes. And this is a fairly good plan.
And I have your assurances that anything you see or participate in would not be reported to the authorities?
No, we're quite used to discretion.
Good, which is one of the reasons why I need all of you to participate.
Now, I would like to know if it's possible for you to describe the kinds of forces that we would be invoking here. Could you describe them a little bit for us?
The woman has tainted blood. Whatever was put, and he looks at the centurion and nods, put into the food. It killed a great many people, but those who survived were changed by it. I don't know why this was done.
Do you know what was put into the food? The rumor is that they were poisoned, but yet you seem to indicate that it's something.
It is a
more
dark.
insidious.
It is a dark living thing within her.
Oh.
And it will need to be, forced out of her body and put into a containment so that it can be safely destroyed.
Oh boy.
Do you believe me?
Yeah, I believe you.
We do indeed.
Can we get another roll or do get
Roll.
another-
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, fail, man. I'm really good at insight too.
Come on, Lucius. Can
Oh,
you
I believe him, but I'll roll.
get
All
it?
right.
Get another.
I did. I rolled an odd 6.
We're wasting all these rolls now.
God
Yeah.
damn it.
He
Hey, I'll
believes-
take it.
Yeah,
He believes everything he's saying
sure. Okay.
to a certain extent.
That's not a friggin'.
As it suits his need.
He's honest mostly.
Yes, he believes that there's a dark spirit in her. He believes that it needs to be withdrawn from her body. Where you got a bit of question was when he said forced.
When he said the thing needed to be forced into the
Yeah,
container?
and
From her.
Oh, okay.
right, basically his tone and his body language was kind of all over the place. Like some of what he said was absolutely true, and some of it's like you're not really sure if it is true.
Great.
But you're pretty sure that he believes everything he said about that there's a dark, living, malevolent spirit in her body, and that to cure her, it needs to be withdrawn.
Yeah. Okay. And the forces that and just the spell. Where did this magic come from? Is it a
Well, it's been
Carthaginian
passed
tradition?
down. It's been passed down through the priests of Phoenicia,
Oh.
which gained their healing abilities at the first temple of Asclepius in Stygia, or so they tell me. Sacred texts have been passed down. I learned certain healing techniques from my master in Carthage many years ago.
So as far as you know, this is Phoenician magic.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we will get her subdued. And
So
bring
will you bring her here? Or do you want me to travel back with you and set up a shrine there?
I think we should bring
There will
her.
be a considerable additional expense if I have to travel.
How effective is the sleeping draught that you can provide? How long would it last?
It depends how much of the spirit is in her. She'll have the ability to heal very quickly.
Oh boy.
We tie her up real good while she's unconscious.
I'd make sure that she's also gagged and blindfolded.
We can do that.
All right. Then you shouldn't have any trouble transporting her here. Just make sure that she's allowed to drink. I know that that will be difficult if you want to keep her gagged. I would suggest a straw around the gag. You don't want her dying while you're transporting her. It is a half day by cart.
Okay.
Before we take our leave, can you give us any insight into what the ritual will entail?
There is a ancient Phoenician chant that will cause the creature within her to withdraw from her body. I will need to make an incision at the top of her scalp and remove a small disc of bone from the top of her skull so that the creature can find a way out.
Mm.
And is this what you had to perform on the other unfortunate victims at the wedding?
I have, but it was a much easier procedure because they did not have as much of this power within them.
Mm.
Don't worry, I will replace the disc with one of brass, and she'll make a full recovery. I've performed the procedure many times.
Mm.
Great.
Well, we thank you for your
Your reaction, Chad, was worth that whole thing. You were like, your whole body said, "What the fuck?" Like,
see, but Lucius would be used to it, right? So, like, they would probably do trefening on the battlefield if people took
somebody got
massive
hit in the head
blows, like,
with a
yeah.
mace and they were talking nonsense and falling down. Like, all right, he's got blood on the brain. He's either gonna die like this, or we're gonna try and cure him, and maybe it'll work. And sometimes it did.
Yeah. All right, so he's nonplussed by that.
Basically, you're gonna all have to learn and sing a magical chant to force this creature out of her body through a hole he's going to drill into the top of her skull. And then stop that up with a crystal decanter. And then once it's withdrawn, he'll stop it up, and then, he'll have the creature, safely out of her, and then he'll, have it dealt with.
Mm.
But the problem is subduing her, because this thing does not want to leave her.
So, but can we sneak this into food, or is this really just has
Certainly, he says, "I'll give you enough for 4 attempts.
Mm.
It will keep for a week. After that, it will lose its potency. I am going to set up the temple to perform this ritual at the next night of the new moon, so you have 4 days.
Ah, okay.
If you get here sooner, we can hold her here until then. If you get here after that, we'll have to wait another month."
Mm. Okay.
And he says that this will end up costing you quite a bit. I'm putting the entire temple at risk. If this goes badly, this malevolent spirit will be loose in my temple and probably infect one of you, myself, or one of my acolytes.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the best chance of success doing it here.
So Lucius is unfamiliar with, why they would wait. So he asks, why the delay if we miss the new moon?
Well, with much of Phoenician magic, it's more potent when the stars are right.
Ah, I see.
Well, I think that answers a lot of our questions, raises some new ones, but
I have to commend you on your open-mindedness. Most people would not be as accepting of such explanations.
We've
dealt with this sort of thing before, then.
Yes, we are not your typical travelers.
Noted. So that I have better hopes for success, then.
Yes.
I'll have the draught brought over to where you're staying in the morning. The boarding house near the... Yes. I hope you don't mind. I had some people checking. I like to know who I'm dining with.
We understand.
Makes sense.
Good luck to you. Do not underestimate your adversary. But please keep in mind that the woman is innocent.
Yes.
If I manage to cure her, it will be as if she woke from a nightmare that she could not awaken from.
That is a desirable outcome.
Well, I hope to see you before 4 days, and I'll have that ready for you in the morning. Now, if you'll excuse me, I will take my leave. Please feel free to finish your dinner, but I have much to prepare for.
As do we.
Mm-hmm.
We thank you for your hospitality.
Or I thank you for this opportunity. It's not often we get to do our God's work.
So,
okay, we're gonna say that this is back at the rooming house. You're all staring at, or on the back, or you're all staring at each other like, what the?
This is happening.
Yeah, I think when we're alone,
realize how big of a problem we were getting ourselves into.
Yeah. Well, you're learning.
I mean, Lucius would just say, that the way he read his body language, that he seemed, both excited and concerned, for this woman. That overall his body language was, kind of all over the place. I guess as he was, pondering and planning, if he is able to work this magic as he says he can, do you think he could be a potential ally in the war that we fight?
He could be. It would certainly be a vote of trust if he pulls this off, but I am going to put on a shelf my trust for the moment because he could also be an enemy.
Indeed.
Dun, dun, dun. Spoken like a true Roman.
All right.
And I just got the text, so if we want to wrap up for the night.
Okay, I think this is a good spot.
Yeah.
We're going to say in the morning you get the draught, and your cart is done. You settle up, and by nightfall you are back. The following day you are back in Rubra with the draught in the villa, and boy, have you got a bit of planning to do.
I'll tell you, this is a Frumentary's dream. He's in his element. This is like, all right, let's do some spy shit.
We're gonna do a snatch and grab.
Exactly. Poisoning people. That's what I do.
Man, I wish we had a black van that we could just roll up on her and put a sack over her head and throw her in the back.
Yeah.
Black wagon drawn by
a black horse.
It's like I remember when I had a group actually did that. They pulled up in a wagon, and they ran into this Bedouin rebel guy's house.
Oh.
And they said, you got to come with us because if you don't, we're going to kill everybody in this house. And his kids were there. And somebody says, how do you say zero dark 30 in Latin? It was bad. It was really bad.
Is that Foundations? That's what they did in the
Yeah.
Oh my God.
When I ran Foundations, they went and got the rebel leader. They found out where he lived. And they pulled up in a cart and dragged him out with a sack over his head, threw him back with his children screaming there.
Wow.
It was horrific. It was like right out of current Middle East horror nightmares. But yeah. All right.
All right.
So we're going to bullshit a little more. Bill, you go say hi to Regina.
Yep.
Say hi to Atticus, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks when we resume.
Sounds good.
And don't forget, you got everyone into this.
Yep, I did. Take care, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right,
Bye.
take it easy. That was fun. Later.
Yeah, that was
All right,
good.
so do we want to close the broadcast and bullshit for a few minutes?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay,
I
cool.
want to thank everybody for tuning in, checking this out. There's links to the MU show in the show notes, as well as Golden Goblin Press. There's a link to the Kickstarter page, so you can look at all the cool stuff that's going to be coming out here soon, maybe in May.
Soon.
Yep, for Cthulhu Invictus. Again, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, click all the likes, the subscribes, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. If you could leave us a review, that would be fantastic. It is so helpful. Jeremy left a review for us. I don't have it pulled up, but it was 5 stars, of course. So if you could do the same, that would be most appreciated. Again, we have our coffee for sale. So if you head over to the tinyurl.com/legendary brew, you can order the legendary brew. That is also fantastic. It helps support the show. It also helps support Neil and his side ventures. So we hope that you'll do that as well. And thanks for checking this out, and we'll catch you next time.